Hi, and welcome back to the Coffee Chat Etc. podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Cox, and today I'm joined by Dorothy O'Dell, author, speaker, advocate, and overcomer. Dorothy shares her powerful journey from childhood bullying and toxic relationships to finding healing, purpose, and a passion for helping others overcome life's challenges. Before we begin, please note that this episode contains discussions around bullying, emotional abuse, mental health, suicide, grief, and cancer. Some listeners may find these topics sensitive, so please seek help if you're affected by any of them. So, grab yourself a coffee, get comfy, and let's start. And welcome, Dorothy, today. You're in the studio with us today, and it's really lovely to see you.
It's amazing to be here. Thank you, Tracy, for allowing me to come on your show.
Great. And where are you from in the world, Dorothy?
Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Wow, that's a beautiful place.
It is. It's actually, for your American listeners, it's right across the street from Detroit, Michigan. So
Okay.
I literally live 5 minutes from the Ambassador Bridge. So yeah, I live in a border city, which is kind of cool. So I could my friends are calling me, hey, where are you? I'm not in the country right now. Can I call you back later?
I'm over the road in America.
That's right. That's right.
Good. Well, it's a nice place to be. You've got a choice of two options then.
I do. Yes.
Good.
I've never been in the United Kingdom. Maybe that's on my list.
Yeah, that would be really good, actually. It'd be a bit of an eye-opener. I think the weather's probably the same as Canada.
Yeah.
But they do have it good at the moment, which is surprising.
Yes.
Yeah,
Cool.
so it's good. So, Dorothy, you've come on the show today to inspire others with your story. So, do you have a particular inspirational story or challenge or a moment where you've kind of had to overcome something? What would you like to share with us today?
I would say my life has been a series of overcoming everything. I don't know why God chose this path, but that's the path that I'm on.
Yeah.
I would say anything from bullying. I was very much bullied all through public school, which led to low self-esteem. So which led to, the first guy saying, oh, I love you, completely believing it.
Sure.
And being in a toxic, mentally abusive relationship for 3 years too long.
Can I just take you back then? So
Sure.
when can you recall the bullying? When did that start? What did that look like? How did it impact on you?
Wow, I would say around I'm getting from grade 2 on, all through, public school here is 2 to 8, grade 2 to 8. And so, I was overweight. So, the guys thought that was just hilarious. And I didn't realize the impact it had on me until I would say the last 10 years, because I had a hard time trusting people. I had a hard time, believing when someone said that they just loved you for you.
Sure.
I had a hard time believing that. And it was just like, I don't know how else to describe it. I was in a therapy session with my doctor, and we were talking about this, and I'm like, I thought I healed that part. Like I thought I did that years ago, went through it, and it was still, I wrote about it in Banna Magazine, which is an eating disorder magazine here in Canada.
Okay.
Just really my life experiences of what that had entailed.
Yeah.
And, the weighted baggage we carried from what people say about us and things like that. And so, and then hurt people. So then
True.
I figured, well, it was okay for people to bully me. So then this scrawny kid, I unfortunately, was mean to him occasionally. And so I just it's just a vicious cycle, right? And it's funny, I've apologized to him for doing that. I mean, it was just, kids can be cruel. And, coming from a family that had been pretty much like my grandmother, my mother, my dad was overweight at times. So that's how we celebrated. Food was celebrated with everything.
I can resonate with you a little bit on this story. Obviously, I don't know the full story at the moment, Dorothy, but I can remember in my family, I was called the baby elephant because I was the bigger one. And when I came down the stairs, I was heavy, and again, I got picked on and bullied at school. And that kind of led me again to bully others
Mm-hmm.
because it was that self-defense mechanism that you have as a child because you don't know how to manage and cope with the emotional
Yeah.
kind of impact that all this stuff has, that you're seen as being different. So I know you said grade 2. Can you just kind of, for the listeners, because a lot of us are in England and Europe as well, what age were you at that stage?
Oh, big question. You're 5 and junior or in kindergarten, 6. So I would say around 7 years old,
Wow.
7, 8 years old, somewhere around there.
Which is the time you're finding yourself.
Exactly. And you try and embrace your differences.
Yeah,
However, if I know now if I know now what was back then, that life would be a lot different. Let's just put it that way.
sure.
But again, that's not how life works. But yeah, it was difficult. It was, boys bullying you, like calling you names. And I didn't have too many friends growing up back then. I didn't allow myself to, it was more, I had three girlfriends from, I would say that same grade 2 to high school. And then
Hmm.
unfortunately, when high school came, we ended up moving to a different town anyways. So I
Okay.
left all my friends behind. So trying to find new friends in
Yeah.
the new town was not great. Thank God I had cousins that went to that high school.
Yeah.
So I made a
So you were
couple,
able to,
but
yeah, you
it's
were able to form some connection there.
well, yes and no, because I just basically stayed to myself. I tried to be, ironically now, I tried to be the girl that no one, like I didn't want any attention on me, like leave me alone type thing. So I isolated myself a lot. So
Uh-huh.
when the bullying started, I would isolate myself. And it's funny, growing up when I did, my dad said a girl can never have more than just one friend because it seems like two of them would not gang up, but they would have the better relationship. And having all four of us together, it was nice. But then, there was always, not always, but you would hear different things, not maybe backstabbing, I guess is what you call it. It's so
Yeah.
dramatic, eh? It's on the playground, right? But, talking stuff about others to each other. And I'm just like, man, now I have amazing relationships with a bunch of multiple women. So it's I never had that. I didn't get that until I would say the last 6 years of my
Yeah.
life. And we just discussed before you hit record, I'll be 50 in July. So
Yeah.
I mean, it took all this time for me to get deep, rich relationships in my life,
Yeah.
and to be able to trust people. And so, yeah.
I think it's really difficult because as kids, you don't have the mechanisms to be able to understand. And it's hurtful. It really hurts, when you're isolated and when you're separated. And I think, yeah, it knocks your self-esteem. So you explained later that it went on into your relationships where
Oh, yeah.
somebody said they loved you and you believed that. At what part do you go, okay, this isn't love. This is not a healthy relationship?
Well, again, I was a late bloomer in romantic relationships. So I don't know, I was 25, I think,
Okay.
when I met my first boyfriend, quote unquote boyfriend. And I started, and then, that didn't work out. And then the one that really didn't work out, I realized that because I was a certified people pleaser, right? Because in order for you to love me, I had to do something for you, right? I couldn't just accept that somebody loved me, and which is so twisted. And I see that now.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of work on myself to get there. But in that particular relationship, it was like he gave me some underdog story where, the mother of his child wouldn't let him see him and he owed back child support and his child support was paying for her cell phone. And so he was behind for whatever reason and she wouldn't let him see him. So like a dummy, I paid to get him caught up in but
Yeah.
he was supposed to pay me back. Of course, that never happened.
Of course, he was going to pay you back.
Yeah, yeah. Pay me back, yeah. And so it's funny. In the 3.5, 4 years I was with him, it was like a roller coaster ride. But then you see my entire life had been a roller coaster,
Of
parents
course.
sick, being bullied, just putting one foot in front of the other, not really thinking that there's a different life out there, right?
Yeah.
Doing the best that I can, not realizing that what I was settling for was absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And so I remember one day he had been laid off. I had been working 2 jobs. He had not, he said he was trying to find another job. His dad even got on him about it. Then he, got into an argument with his dad. And I was just seeing some signs like he was a jokester,
Yeah.
but if you played a joke on him, that's why we broke up the first time. I said,
Okay.
Did you forget to pay the hydro bill? Because the hydro's not on. Well, and then I started laughing. Anyways, that was just mild compared to the jokes that he played on his friends and
Right.
on me. But that was like the end. So we
Okay.
had broken up for a little bit. And like a dummy, I went back. I don't know why, but anyways, I did. And so, that continued until one day, like he's laid off. All this pressure's on me. Well, then my main job ended up, I got let go because they were shutting the plant down, and they
Right.
knew that they were going to do this. They knew they were going to shut the plant down, but I didn't know that. So I
Okay.
had only, I was there for less than a year, and they shut it down. Well, then you're no good to somebody who is a narcissist and using you because you don't have any income coming in. By that
Yeah.
time, he had, I think, might have just been gotten back to work. Anyways, he kept on asking me for stupid stuff. He was a gamer, and I
Oh
would be
gosh.
busting my butt doing 2 jobs, and he's playing video games, and I come home and he wonders why I'm upset. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I get a total of 4 hours sleep a day, and you're playing video games, and you wonder why
Yeah.
I'm upset. So anyways, he had gone to Walmart with a bunch of his friends. And well, this was the first time I ever had like true friendship because I had couples friends, right? And they were amazing and awesome. And so I was holding on to that dream, right? I was thinking, oh, maybe it isn't me, because he would say, well, if you did this, then I wouldn't act this way. And I'm just like, so the whole time I'm thinking, okay, it's me. What did I do wrong? Right?
Yeah.
Gaslighting and all that all that stuff at its finest. And anyways, like he has asked for this Guitar Hero while we were in Walmart, and I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, come on, come on, come on. And I'm like, no, I said, if you ask again, like I'm out of here. And
Yeah.
I remember it clear as day. It's in my book that I wrote. And it was like a metaphorical veil that was in front of me. And God had
Yeah.
split it from the left to the right. And I knew that day going forward, I was done with that relationship.
Yeah.
I just needed to find a way to get out of it. Doors opened, doors that I thought would have been closed, opened, and I left.
Fantastic. How long did it take from that moment to when you left?
I want to say within 2 months, I was done. Like I was out.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to kind of wait till after Christmas because he had a son, but then anyways, it didn't work out that way.
You put
So it was
yourself
November.
first.
It was November 4th or November 5th is my freedom day. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that must have been a really tricky time. And you said about the roller coaster. I kind of know what that feels like as well. And it's a constant loop, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
pattern of push, pull, dragging in, dragging out. And I suppose you hanging on to the future because when you're with somebody, you build that future and you're hopeful. But obviously at that point with the music guitar, it just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I loved his parents. I loved the relationships like the couple relationships that I had with that. So I
Yeah.
was holding on to that into my mind thinking, okay, well, this is, I would have had a mother-in-law that was absolutely amazing, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave that. But then I ended up with an even better mother-in-law. I mean, not that she's better, but she's just as good. And so,
Good.
everything worked out.
Brilliant. And what was your life like that moment that you decided to leave and you did leave? What happened after that with
Well,
yourself?
with myself,
Yeah.
it took me, I would say I may as well probably very depressed at that time. I had hit an all-time low in how I felt about myself, just what I had gone through with those 4 years with him. And
Sure.
just really realizing like, man, I fell for a great line of crap and just really, the things I thought about myself were not great. As a matter of fact, I was bitter. I was like, I ended up moving from there back home with my parents. And then eventually my brother, just long enough so that my brother could finish the basement in his house. And then
Okay.
I moved in with my brother for a little bit just to get back on my feet.
Sure.
Because I was down to just a half a job, right? So I had to find some kind of employment. And so it was a very dark time. I'm very thankful I had like I said, I found God at that time and I had a spiritual mom, I guess is what what you would call her. And she kind of took me under her wing. Her birthday and mine are a couple days apart,
Okay.
which is really ironic. She's older than I'll be 50. She's probably got to be close to 80. So, but still, to me, friendship has no age limit. Like I'm friends with
I agree.
all different kind of ages.
Yeah.
So to me, and she brought me to this event. I don't know if you've ever heard of Danny Johnson.
No, no.
She's a Christian motivational speaker, I guess is what you
Okay.
could call her. Since then, her events still go on, but it's different people speaking. And I remember she took me to this event, and it was in Indiana because we were in Amish country.
Oh,
I,
wow. Okay.
I remember that. The events were all over the United States, so it was just the one that we had happened to be at. And this guy, his name is Tommy. We were sitting beside him, and he says, he goes, her smile lights up the room. But I didn't even realize what I was projecting on the outside. Like when somebody would talk to me, I was just like bitter. Every past trauma that had come up with that I had been in that relationship, like it just poured out of me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize I was doing it. And this other woman said to me, she goes, if you could get rid of your bitterness, she goes, like, your world would change. And so I made me think that weekend. And so this guy, Tommy, great looking guy. He had an amazing girlfriend at the time. He's now married to her.
Yeah.
I've kept in touch with him on Facebook and things like that. But for him to say that to me, come to find out, this guy was like built, he was buff, he was freaking amazing looking. And for him to tell me that, I was just like, wow, right? So that was like the turnaround of like, okay, life isn't as bad as you think it is, like you've allowed yourself enough time to be in the pit that you were in. Let's move on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was, come to find out, Tommy's story, he was an overweight guy. He had been
Ah, okay.
bullied like when he was in school too. So we had
Yeah.
similar stories. So he knew what I had gone through prior to, and he had been in a really bad relationship as well. And so I will thank God for meeting Tommy in that event, because that was my like turning point. I was okay, get yourself help. You can't do it yourself, right? And so that was a journey of many different healings. There was so many different things that I have tried, to get
Yeah.
me out of that funk, whether it be through my church or things like that. And so I, took a healing journey, got myself right, started. I knew I wanted to be married, but then I was just like not allowing myself to be open to it. Like I wanted it,
Okay.
but you know, how you want something, but you don't really subconsciously, like, you sabotage it.
Yeah, of course.
And so just really realizing that. So I took, a couple years to just find myself, heal those parts that were broken or I thought were broken.
Can I
And
just ask Dorothy, which was the main kind of thing that you used to help you overcome this, or the most useful, And I know that they all kind of interlink and they can all help in their way, but the most powerful, maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
okay, so I decided to this is going to sound weird in some different ways. So I had, like I said, my spiritual mom who was connected to this church, right? Back in Chatham, Ontario. So great church family. I had connected into a Bible study there.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had used that as a tool and met some amazing women through there. We helped each other through some life challenges after.
Great.
There was this thing called Therapeutic Prayer Ministry with
Okay.
Ed Smith. Ed Smith was the facilitator. I'm pretty sure it's known worldwide. That was
I'm
one of
not au
the
fait with it.
Okay. That was one of the therapies that they had used within that church. And
Okay.
I even went to go get certified in it too. So I've took it. So some of the modalities there I use in some of my programs.
Okay.
Basically, it's just looking outside of the things that you think about yourself, right? Like you could think you're a great person, but for some reason you think that you're not, for whatever reason, right? And so, because for me, like, I must be a horrible person if, I allowed somebody to treat me like crap for 4 years and stay in this abusive relationship. What does that say about me, right? And so
Yeah.
those thoughts that I would have. So it helps you retrain those thought
Okay.
patterns and
Okay.
rechanges the tapes that are playing inside your head, right? And of course, with that, it brings it back to what does God say about you? But so not everybody is receptive to the word
Yes.
Jesus or God. So in some of the counseling that I do, I bring it back to like, what is you really thinking about? Like, what belief do you have about yourself? And is that really
Hmm.
true?
Yeah.
Who told you that? According to who? Right.
Yeah.
And so you believe the bad parts. Why can't you believe the good parts? So,
It's down to belief systems, which are actually, I believe, through my research as well, that belief systems are created by parents, adults, environments as a child. And
yeah.
they say that between the age of 0 to 5, the man is made, and all the belief systems then are kind of impounded. But as you get older and they come up, it's so good to question them. And I'm not necessarily religious. And that's not good. It's not a bad thing, but I'm spiritual, definitely. And I have a faith and I
Yeah.
believe that in the faith and belief systems and changing your mindset and turning them around is an amazing thing. And it's very similar to the Theraphosic.
Theraphostic prayer
That's
ministry.
the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And,
yeah, it's very
and it's,
similar.
so that's what helped me at that time.
Yeah.
But
Fab.
it's funny because now what helps me is I have really surrounded myself with amazing women that will not let me quit.
Fab.
I call them my tribe. So
Yeah.
and my tribe changes, right? And 5 years ago, I met an incredible woman on LinkedIn who, this woman said, "Hey, have Jen be on your podcast." And Jen at that time had Jen's Happy Meal. So it was these boxes that you could order monthly for somebody, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I had just written the book. So she wanted to see, hey, maybe Jen would want one of your books inside one of these boxes. So I'm like, okay. So Jen led me, though, to 7 other women that we had spent after that 4 years together every Saturday morning, just being
Fantastic.
there for each other through business, through life, everything.
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm still friends, like with pretty much all of them. Some I have more closer relationships than others. Like I could pick up the phone at any given time. Actually, I
Yeah.
talked to one of them this morning for an hour and a half before joining you. And I could just pick them up and call them, and it's just like they live in the States. I live here in
Yeah.
Canada, but we've been to each other's homes. We've been there for each other, and so it's really amazing what can happen when you have those friendships, and that's not something I had growing up.
Yeah.
And so I firmly believe that if I had those relationships back then, my life would be different. But then my journey's my journey. And so that's not what it
Yeah.
was meant to be.
And everyone's journey is different, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I totally agree with you because when I came to Spain 3-4 years ago and set up, I didn't even set it up. I just asked a couple of people if they wanted a coffee, and that group went from 3 people to over 40 people that are certain to come to coffee every other Sunday. And what I didn't realize at the time was that I got more out of it than you could even think of in the way of healing, in the way of support, in the way of, just coaching, and everyone's different. All these women bring different values and different experiences to the table, and you learn so much from them as well.
Yeah.
It's very
That
empowering.
I love that you said that. I have one aunt left on my dad's side, and she lives in Hong Kong. Has
Okay.
been since I want to say I was 16. So that's a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, so she's been over there with her husband. He's a dean at the university. And that's what she had to do. Like she had to put herself
Yeah.
out there because she's not allowed to work.
Okay.
So, she had 2 kids but the culture is different over there.
Sure.
So she was left with all this time. Like, what is she going to do? Right. So I know that she used to have those coffee dates over there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's funny that you said that because I think that's what helped her. Like she had no family over there. Not one of us, unfortunately, had been able to go over there. Like maybe that's what we're doing for my 50th. Like,
Hey, that'd be
hey,
nice, wouldn't it?
hey, Aunt Lori, we're coming. Uh, I mean, we would have accommodations and everything. We just need to get there. Huh.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
That's if the plane has fuel, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, that's a long flight, but anyways, thank you for saying that because I realized that's what she had to do,
Yeah.
being away from everybody for a long time
Yeah.
though.
I think as women, we're kind of from the tribal times, aren't we? where women used to support each other anyway, and women would stay at home and look after the children. And I'm talking about, like, thousands of years ago. Collectively, we did that and we supported each other. And I think with the times that have changed and the working and the, families moving away now, it becomes much more difficult. And you can be alone in this world as a woman. But I think connecting with the women that I've connected over the last couple of weeks, actually, just starting this podcast, has been incredible because, again, it's very similar, like-minded women from all over the world. And even that feels powerful as well, and supportive and helpful. So I think women together can achieve great things.
Oh, absolutely. And, I know I would rather collaborate with somebody. There is so much out there for everybody. If we just collaborate, we could go further together. 100%.
Definitely.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And so I just really, if anybody's listening to this and thinking, oh, I can do it all on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for decades until I finally woke up and thought, but I could go further together with more and I can impact more people. Because for me, it's about who could I impact? How many can I impact in the time that I'm here? It's not about, it's not about just what's for me. It's for the collective. So.
Definitely. And so moving forward, you've kind of skimmed on your book and your podcast and everything else. So what great things are you doing now, Dorothy?
What aren't I doing is what it should be. So I am a 3-time author. Soon.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I wrote my memoir called The Overcomer, Facing Challenges with Faith and Courage. Just sharing my story. Because I'm like, have you ever just paused and thought, man, I've been through a lot, right? Like, I think we're so busy just going through life that we forget to take that deep breath.
Sure.
And so I am like, man, that's what happened. I said to my girlfriend, I'm like, I've been through a lot. And she goes, yeah. She goes, you should write a book about it. I'm like, but who's going to read it? She said, well, I will. And ironically enough, the first person to buy my book was my husband's ex-wife. So,
wow.
So she was my number one. She was the first one that bought it. And so I just wanted to get my story out there because there's so many women out there that just go through life, just go through the struggles. They probably don't even know half of what they've gone through, and they're tired and they feel alone and they feel hopeless. And so the whole purpose was to write the book to say, hey, wait a minute, if I can overcome this, so can you.
Yeah.
And then the second one was the Overcomer Playbook. It's funny. It's the front cover has football. Like my dad was Steelers football. I'll show you. I know this is audio, but so
I can see. Yeah.
So
wow, yeah.
It's like the gameplay, right? So what is the gameplay of being an overcomer? So in here, I put the 7 steps that I use to become the overcomer, because for the last 5 years, that was my my thing. I'm known as the overcomer. And then that group that I told you about of women that used to meet Saturday mornings, we decided to put another book together called Bringing New Words to Your Body Conversation. So it's 10 women that share their stories about their struggles with their body. Or the stories that we told ourselves about our body, right?
Yeah.
And so all of these can be found on Amazon. So
that one will resonate.
Because there's a lot of us out there that, there's something about us at one point in our lives that we hate about our body, even though we shouldn't, because and there's that word should. Everybody
hates it.
We hate that word. Don't say should. Don't should all over yourself.
We must,
right? And so anyways, so I did the first book, The Overcomer. I did that first. And then I thought writing the book is the easiest part, but it's like, how am I going to get this to the masses? Because no one knows who I am. I'm a Canadian girl. No one knows.
Yeah.
No one knows me. I put myself in the corner, like Dirty Dancing, don't put baby in the corner. So, no one, how am I going to get this out? So then I saw this thing says 6 weeks to live stream and having your show up. I'm like, God, what are you doing? Because I'm not like being the center of attention. This is not me.
Yeah.
But I did it. So 6 weeks. In 6 weeks, I started my show doing live streaming because to me, mine's more than just a podcast, because I saw it as the next Oprah, and I saw it as being like a daytime TV or whatever.
Yeah.
We're just interviewing people and sharing their stories of turning their pain into power, right? And their into their message. And so I started that journey about 5 years ago,
Wow.
just interviewing. I've interviewed people from around the world. I've interviewed supermodels. Donna
Wow.
Eller, she actually formed the union for the supermodels way back in the day.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
She, back then she had some big things like being supermodel for Sears. I'm not sure if you
Hmm.
ever heard of Sears, the
I
Sears
have, yeah.
catalog.
Yeah.
Okay. So, things like that. So that's pretty cool. But then I think everybody that comes onto the show is pretty cool because everybody has a story and everybody
Absolutely.
needs to share their story to
Yeah,
help others, to help this world
definitely.
heal, right?
Definitely. And it was the Dalai Lama that said the Western woman will heal the world. And I believe that.
Well, shout out to the Dalai Lama because I think he's onto something. Because women do rule the world. Let's be real. The amount of so in all the networking I've done, because I network around the world, guys are doing some amazing things, but the women are the ones that are making the bigger impact.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to say women are the better sex. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is because we lead with heart, soul, and empathy,
Yes.
we reach other people's hearts and souls, right? And
Absolutely.
so we're into the soul work where, I don't think there are some men out there that I don't want anybody coming after me and, you know, saying that. And
The
I've
phone will
had
be
some,
ringing.
right. I've had some incredible, amazing soul men on my show, talking about their journeys. But yeah, so there's that. But then on my show, okay, on January 31st of 2021, I
Yeah.
met a guy named Greg Bicknell. Greg Bicknell was a 28-year Air Force veteran. He had attempted suicide 3 times while still on active duty.
Wow.
And finally, he reached out for help and was told to make an appointment. So
Oh,
Greg was like furious and thought, if me, who has been in these forces for 28 years, is being told to make an appointment, what's the new recruits going to be like? Right.
sure.
So he started this journey of, because back then 22 veterans were dying by suicide per day.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Uh, I come from a military background. My uncle served, my great grandfather served. I have cousins that have served. I have a nephew that's serving currently.
Yeah.
So all this service, and I didn't even think about it, Tracy. I didn't think that my life has been nothing but service. I grew up going to the Canadian Legion Friday nights with grandpa,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All of this when I started in my 20s, that's something what we did. He thought it was fantastic. And so having this life, and like it didn't dawn on me until I heard Greg's story. And I'm like, well,
Sure.
if that's just one man on a mission, and I joined forces with him, he had a what do you call that? A charity back then. Not a charity,
Yeah.
what do you anyways, something like that. It was
Non-profit?
nonprofit, thank you. He
Non-profit.
had a
Yeah.
nonprofit. I joined his nonprofit. I sat on his board for a couple years. And I joined forces with our veterans to get them the help that they need, right?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Which led to 4 years of worth of relationships just building within this community and hearing their stories. And I'm telling you, there's nothing like a Marine telling you he's got your 6 as a civilian. Out of everything in my life that I've accomplished, that is the one that I'm just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
That is like my defining moment. If I do nothing else in my lifetime, even though it's funny I say that, even though if I did nothing else, I knew that I had done something with my life. But yet I sit here and I'm mad at myself because I'm not.
No.
So it's kind of like weird that I'm telling you this.
Oh, dear.
But I look back and I'm thinking, well, because I want to do a lot. There's so much I want to do. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and so ending veteran suicide's one of them. And through all this, my dad, funny, finally got engaged at 40. No, I met my husband at 40, got engaged at 42, got married at 43. Well, just after I got engaged, we found out my dad had cancer. So my dad was like my hero, right? Like every
Yeah.
girl loves her daddy and your mom too. But there was a special bond with my dad.
Yeah.
So came back. It was in April around this time that he got diagnosed. So that was like a 2.5 years. He survived 2.5 years, beat the lung cancer,
Oh,
only to get liver cancer. And
gosh.
yeah, so watching your parent die for 9
Uh-huh.
days does something to you.
Yeah. Must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was back then, COVID was in the thick of it. Long story short, we ended up having to do, and we couldn't get him into the hospice soon enough. And because of the restrictions around that time, as my brother and I wouldn't have been able to see him. And he wanted to die at home anyway. So we ended up
No.
getting some nursing staff in. My brother and I were there every day. And
Sure.
we had a family friend who had her PSW that stayed with my mom through that entire week and a half. And since then, I decided to take his love of golf and to take my love of helping people. And I formed the Don Graham Memorial Fun Classic,
Oh,
which
wow.
is August 8th this year. And it's always at the same place at the Tilbury Golf Course. My dad used to golf with my brother, my uncle, and my husband. And right up almost until the week before he died, they would have to tee up the ball for him so he could
Oh,
swing it, but he was out there. And so just really bringing awareness, A, to cancer, B, bringing in funds to the Chatham Kent Health Alliance Foundation, but we're taking it to the patient care assist program. So we're bringing it right back into the community. So this program is specifically so that anybody who signs up for it can potentially get like $1,000 grant, which
okay.
helps with their medical expenses that are not covered through OHIP. Here in Canada, we have OHIP. So anyways, but not everything's covered, and fuel and things like that. And one of the things I can remember my dad having to drive for like an hour for some of his appointments when he was going through cancer. And so that would take up its toll. I mean, he's on a fixed pension, right? So I didn't know about this program back when he was alive.
Okay. Yeah.
So now that I know about it, now I'm just like, no, let's help these people, recover some of those costs. So that is what I'm doing.
Wow. Wow. You're kind of everywhere all at once.
I am. I am
Yeah.
like the Where's Waldo? Dorothy, find out where Dorothy is, because with helping veterans with mental health, with helping
Cancer
survivors
patients.
and stuff like that, that's what I do.
Brilliant. Well, I think you've got an amazing story, and turning that pain and that struggle and everything else into what you're doing now is just amazing. And I think you're beautiful, amazing energy as well, Dorothy.
Well,
And it's been lovely talking to you today as well,
thank you.
getting to know you a bit more.
Yes, it's been lovely talking to you too. And I think in my experience, we go through things so that we can help other people.
Absolutely.
I can
Yeah.
remember saying to my mom, as I'm holding my dad's hand in one hand as he's passing away on us, and I looked up at her and I said, "We're going through this so that we can help somebody else."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, you might be able to do that now, but I can't." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, that's fine when you're ready."
I'm
You
going to do
know,
it.
and that's right. So, that changes a person, right?
Definitely. And I think all my life as well, I haven't told my story yet. It will be coming on the podcast and hopefully a book one day, because I've been trying to write it for the last 15 years. But I've never given up, because I knew that the pain that I went through as a child was meant to help other people. But I didn't really know how that worked, because I hadn't healed. And I went through life going, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, until I hit my kind of 40s, 50s, and I went, I'm not fine anymore, some help. And it was my daughters actually that woke me up with that, held the mirror up to me and said, do you need help? So I was like, right, okay. And I know that that pain that I experienced can help others. And I think it's just pushing that through now. And this podcast group that's been set up for 3 weeks now, and it's been inundated, and it's just a platform for people to tell their stories. It's just been cathartic and amazing. So yeah,
I'll have
I
to have
think
you on mine then. I want to hear your story.
I might have to put it on mine first, Dorothy.
Okay. Well,
No,
you
but
can do that.
I would love to come to your podcast. Actually, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I love hearing everybody's story, because
Yeah,
we could all be saying the same thing, but I resonate different with other people, right? And
sure.
same with you. And it's funny, I had a coach that said, by you shutting up and not sharing, you know how many people have affected, or because they didn't hear what you said? And I'm like, ooh, that hit. That hit.
Absolutely. No, it's amazing. So yeah, I'll definitely come on your podcast,
Perfect.
and I'd look forward to it.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love it.
It's been
anytime.
amazing having you on the show today, Dorothy.
Well, thank you. It's been amazing being here.
Thank you very much. And and I'll see you on yours.
All right. Sounds good.
Take care. Thank you for being here and for choosing to be part of this journey today. I believe that together we can create a community where women uplift, support, and empower one another. If this resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to my podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you'd like to connect more deeply, visit my new website, Coffee Chat, etc. If you feel that you have something you would like to contribute to future episodes, then let me know. You can join our Facebook group, Inspiration, Coffee Chat, etc. And please remember that I aim to create a safe and supportive environment for our listeners. But it is important to reiterate, some of these episodes may cover sensitive topics, including discussions around adversity, trauma, mental health, violence, and sexual references. These subjects may evoke strong emotions or trigger responses, and I urge you to seek support or professional help if you're affected by any of them. I want you to leave feeling inspired, motivated, and empowered. For now, it's a see you later, and have a great day wherever you are in the world.